Never run down. I call on you, my friend. A helping hand you lend in my time of need. So I'm calling you now, just to make it through. What else can I do? Don't you hear my plea? Friends may come and friends may go, but you should know that.
Hello. Welcome back to another vlog. As you guys, okay, that's cute. Happened, baby. Okay. Let me turn it this way because I feel like people be looking my text. Something pop up because that would be me. Okay, first, welcome back to another vlog. A little sip. That's good. As you probably can see, it is Super Bowl Sunday. But when you guys see this video, it will be Valentine's Day weekend. So, this is Nicole. Some of you may know her from previous videos. So I thought of this idea of us getting together and having a conversation because we're in a beauty parlor. And, you know, when women get into the beauty parlor, the myth is true. We get in a beauty parlor and we talk about men's, everything under the sun. Everything. But this time we were at the beauty parlor and we were talking about the men's. And I wanted to sit with Nicole and have like a girl chat. Because, you know, we don't really care about this. We was only here for halftime. But anyway, Nicole also would like to do matchmaking. So that's interesting. And a lot of people come to, you know, just women. Where do you find men? But Nicole is married, so she's one of the lucky ones because she's married. She's already married. But anyway, she wanted to do matchmaking. So we said, let's have an island talk. We have an island talk after the halftime is over. So some of the things that I think that we should discuss is how people, first of all, I think we should discuss how a lot of women, I was surprised, that don't believe in girls trips.
Oh yeah, I was surprised. I love a girls trip.
And that's coming from someone who is married. Right. So
nothing wrong with a girls trip.
Right. So why do you think that so many people, women, feel like girls trips are like? Where do you think that comes from?
I think women are, and the girl alluded to, I forget her name, I'm sorry, alluded to that some women don't want to go on girls trips because they don't want their man or their partner to go on a boys trip. So they don't want to entertain that so that the male won't go on the boys trip.
So being married, right? Because we're going on a girls trip.
We're going
for your
on
birthday.
We stay going on a girls trip.
We stay going on a girls trip. But with you being married, how do you feel? And it's your husband. It's not somebody you're dating. How do you feel about him going on a guy's trip?
Well, I personally don't mind if he goes on a guy's trip. I think it's important that you don't lose yourself. And if you want to go, you should have time with your friends. And I mean, if people are nervous about their mates cheating, I mean, they could be cheating wherever they live. And it's even worse, right? So at least if you go, I mean, and you can't, I don't think that it's fair that you don't trust someone enough for them not to go. Right. I don't know. I don't have a problem because I don't want any, and then you shouldn't lose yourself. Yeah. Right? And if that's something that you want to do, why can't you do it?
And you made a good point. Nicole, we were talking like behind the scenes. This is why we wanted to have the girl chit chat. If they go away and cheat, that's a one and done. Not saying we condone it.
But at least it's one time.
It's a one and done. Unless they had a good night.
And they keep going, right? That becomes their destination.
Right, but that's just it. But here, because whatever they do there, they're going to do here. And how I look at it is that I think guys' trips are okay because if I'm going to be with someone and I can't trust them to be away from me,
exactly,
then we don't need to be together.
Right.
You know, because Work. People go to work. People go away for work.
Yes, they do.
How do you? So for me, I think that go on a guy trip. You know, and I don't want to be anybody's parent.
No.
I think that men should be allowed to do what they want to do as long as they respect themselves and respect us.
That's right.
You know, I don't think that a guy's trip. I don't see anything wrong with it.
I don't either.
I don't
either. And you can tell a man from the friends they keep, right? You can tell people from the friends they keep. Not saying that they'll do everything their friends do, but you kind of know.
Yeah.
And so again, like you said, if you can't trust them, then why be with them?
Exactly. Because one thing and you know what I think it is? I think when we talk about girls trips, they think like the movie Girls Trip. Right. Our girls trips don't be that wild.
No.
Right? No. I think the most with our girls trips, of course, Amir may buy you a drink, and we're human. We look and be like, oh, he's nice looking. He's like, but it's not like we're just going off. And imagine, she's not letting me talk about, oh, I just met him in the club and I'm going to his room. She's not letting me do that.
No.
And it's important on who you go on the trip with. So I don't think anything is wrong with girls trips.
I don't think so either.
And you need it.
And you need it.
That's therapy.
That is therapy. You need time where you're just thinking, you're being selfish, you're only thinking of you. You can take a shower without anybody coming in the bathroom. You can sleep till you wake up. You can sleep by yourself.
Yes, and it's always
that.
And it's always a fun kiki moment, you know, and it's things to remember. And then you just need that breather away, you know.
Right.
So I have some questions here, some key points. So we touched on girls trips, we touched on guys trips, and remind you, I'm single, she's married. So this is an opinion from a single woman and a married woman. Okay. So what do you think about solo trips? You've never gone on a solo trip.
I've never gone on a solo trip. I don't think I'm there yet. I wouldn't mind. You know, I like the idea of going on a solo trip.
Do you think that's different?
Like it would be very different.
Do you think it's different to tell your husband, I'm going on a solo trip? That sounds a little different.
I know, that sounds very different.
Like,
that sounds very
now, okay, so that's a difference. If your husband said, I'm going on a solo trip, you're like, wait a minute now. Hold on.
Right.
Like, hold on.
Exactly. So that, to me, that's different because I think you have to know the person, right? Because if they're a type of person who does things by themselves, then okay. Yeah. But if it's like out of the blue, like, I'm going on a solo trip, then my eyebrows raised and I'm like, okay.
So but would you do a staycation? We've done staycation too.
We've done staycation.
We did a staycation about 2 years ago in Long Island. Yeah, we did a staycation. It was a great time. So even with that, I see how some men could probably have like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And okay, so picture it. We've been friends forever, right? This is like my sister. So for her to be able to tell her husband, yeah, I'm going with Chris on a staycation. We're going over here.
Right.
But that's just the trust and understanding that you still have to be you. Yeah. And you need a breather sometimes. You know. So for me, I think I could do the solo location. It's like, okay. But then too, you have to know where you're going and all of that stuff, to be safe. So Nicole's not there.
I'm not there yet. I wouldn't mind going because then I would be able to just sleep if I want to sleep.
Right.
I can imagine myself for 2 days. Not a long time.
No.
Just going somewhere and just sleeping and not having to worry about, anyone's schedule.
Because let me tell y'all, on our friendcations, this thing is going to sleep. This thing is going to sleep. You hear me? And it's usually four. It's usually four of us. 4 or 5 of us that go. I mean, we've gone on girl vacations when there's more of us, but the 4 of us work better, right? Yeah. Chris, Nicole, Nikki. We work better. Okay. So another question is where to meet men.
Where to meet men? I wouldn't know.
But these single women.
That's the problem.
Right. Well, you know what? Okay, so I'll answer that question. I think where to meet men. Nikki met her man in the gym.
Right.
So I was saying to them, if you really enjoy working out, go to the gym because the men are at the gym, and that'll give you and the person something off the bat that you have in common.
It's
if
true.
you really like to work out.
It's true.
You know?
I think it depends, right? Because some people, it depends on what type of person you are. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're an outgoing person
Mm-hmm.
and you don't mind approaching someone, or you're approachable.
You would approach a man if you were single?
I mean, as an older woman,
No.
I don't
No.
know. I don't know.
No.
But I mean, if you're that type of person,
Okay.
you know, then yeah, you can go to the gym, you can go to a bar. I mean, you know, you'll meet people. But if you're not an approachable person, that's why I think some people do the dating apps. Because I think the dating apps allows you, even if you're not an outspoken or outgoing person, it allows you to meet people in a way that's not as forward, but it's still more forward than you probably would be in person.
Mm-hmm. So you know what I think about the dating apps? I think that dating apps is a fast way for men to find. Okay. I think that men that are on the apps think that the women that are on the apps are desperate. Not that we are, not that, but I think that the men think that.
Right.
So I think a lot of the men are not on there to be serious. They're on there for a quickie.
Right.
Quick one night stand or whatever.
Right.
Because I think they think that the women are desperate. Not that we are.
Right.
Not that, because I'm not on one, but I'm just saying. If I, you know what I mean? That's what I think. But then we know people who marry from that. But I just think it's the type too. And I think it needs to be not these quick ones. I think you have to pay extra money.
You have to pay.
Right. You have to pay extra money.
Because when you pay, you're saying you're committed.
And you're serious.
And you're serious.
Yes. I do think so.
I think men more so than women, because I can see women, women try things. Men are more stubborn and closed-minded at times. Ooh. But I don't think that a lot of men, some men, are as open to like, oh, I'll meet a woman that I really want to be with.
So what kind of men do you think that's on the dating app?
Like you said, that are looking for a good time.
Not a long time.
Not a long time, but a good time.
Right. I do think that. So I don't know. I think like I've met, okay, this is what I will say. Women, ladies, just always stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Meaning, make sure when you go out the house, you look good. You put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Because you can meet a man going to get your hair done.
You can.
Getting your nails done. The gym, Trader Joe's, Home Depot, all of these in the car. You could be at a red light and meet a man, right? But you just have to make sure that you are always put together and ready.
And open.
Which I have a problem with.
What's your problem with being open?
Because when men try to talk to me, like my dating life now. I really don't have one.
So, anywhere, right? You gotta stay ready. I like that. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And be open.
And you have to be open. Because I don't know if I'm always open. And then I believe too that I'm picky.
Yeah.
That gets to one of my questions.
About your type?
Yes. So
I think everybody has a type.
Okay, so she's going to be a matchmaker.
Everybody has a type.
Right? So we've known each other for years. So I wrote down 4 men, and I want her to tell me which one she think is my type.
Famous men?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tyler LePlay. I'm going to put his photo somewhere over here.
Okay.
He plays in Harlem. He plays in Queens Sugar. You know.
Tyler?
No, not Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler plays in Harlem, and he plays in
He's the boyfriend of
Megan Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Koofy from
Koofy.
Queen Sugar from Grove Strip.
Okay.
LaRoyce Hawkins Atwater from Chicago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I had to throw Method Man in there.
Oh Lord. Okay. So only one is not your type.
Who?
The first one. He's not your type.
Even playing?
No, he's not your type. Kofi, yes, is definitely your type.
Now,
yes. He's not your typical type. He's not your typical type. Meth is your typical type. You have the two extremes. You have the rough, rugged extreme, and then she has the... I don't know how to describe that.
So Atwater is not in it.
Atwater, he's kind of rough, rugged because he's a police officer. He plays the police officer. So yes, but them two are typical your type. Because Atwater kind of look like meth in a certain way. Kind of way. Yeah.
I don't know, but Kofi, woo, yeah. That dark skin with that beard. Okay.
But not Tyler. No.
I have a question.
No.
What about age difference while dating?
Age difference?
Mm-hmm. Because when we were in the beauty parlor, she said that she wants someone around her age, but she doesn't want to say she's taking the stairs and he's taking the elevator.
Right. I think it depends on what you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to have a good time, then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter how old someone is. But if someone wants a family and you don't,
that matters.
That matters, right? And it matters how young they are and if that's still a possibility for them. I think that's a big issue. But if you're trying to have a good time, and as long as, I think it also depends on who is the older person. And I say that because...
So you think it's a difference if a man is older and a woman is younger, and then vice versa?
Because we tend to be more mature, and know what we want, right? And so you can thrive with a male that's older in a relationship, or a partner that's older. Whereas a man... Some men are mature. Some young men are mature.
I've met some young ones.
But I think,
mature.
That's
more mature than the older ones.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Some of them are.
Yeah.
So I think it definitely depends on the person. But, I think if it's a male that's older, it tends to work a little better. But you have your Demis. You have your... what's her name? Terry McMillan. You have so many women.
Cher.
Yeah, so many women, and they look good.
But you know what?
And have had younger men.
You know what, Nicole? I don't think me and older men though. Like 1 year older. But when you talking about like older, I'm like.
Well, it depends. No. It depends on how they act. If they act old.
Yeah, because I saw this man on TikTok. He said he's 79. No, he's lying.
Now 79 is a stretch.
No, but Nicole, you have to see him. He ain't look like nobody. But okay, so age, it really depends on what you want. It
depends, yeah.
Because
we have a family member, yeah. You don't act like their age, so. It all depends how they act.
That is true. That's true. Okay.
How they carry themselves.
So, what do you think is a good first date?
A good first date.
We had to talk about this too. So I think we agreed. Don't tell me to get. I don't want to go to a fancy smancy dinner. I don't. I want to see what you look like in your jeans, your sweatsuit. I want to see what them sneakers are looking like. I want to see how you line yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to see what I will see on a day to day. Yeah. And I want to go someplace and sit down and really get to know you. I don't want to be in a stuffy restaurant and I don't smack. But let's just say you smack, right? Now you can't smack because you're in this fancy restaurant.
You definitely can't smack.
Right, you can't. Like, you got to be all cutesy
and proper.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think a good first date is like maybe going someplace, looking over the water, getting something to eat. You don't have to not the wine and dine. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think a good first date is not necessarily a restaurant, especially if it's loud. Mm-hmm. You need to somewhere where you could talk. And you could see, how you're vibing. I remember my husband and our first date, even though I told him he was a cheap date. We went to the promenade and we got ice cream, but we just sat and talked.
No, that's a nice date.
It was a nice date, but I just always joke with him, like, you didn't even take me out to eat.
But at that moment, did you really think?
Huh? Did I?
At that moment, did you really think, like, are we really getting ice cream?
No. Because we both said we had just ate. Okay. So that's why we went. So I think something like that, because you want to be able to talk. Right. You want to feel the person. And then maybe the second
real
date.
Conversation.
Real conversation.
Yeah, real conversation.
Especially as an older woman. You don't want, you're like, okay, Let's cut to the gym.
Right.
I know what I want.
Right. What we doing? Even
we doing?
if you just looking to date.
Right.
I think that I don't want to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to be like. So what you like? Like what? Like
right.
you know, like
right.
real conversations to connect.
Exactly.
Because you really can't connect over the you know, expensive restaurant music and everybody looking around and it's awkward. Like no, I don't want that.
And if you're hungry,
no,
they don't forget them.
Right. No. So no, I think a little coffee day, a little, I don't know, outside, little drink, cocktail, right?
Yeah.
You know?
So you can buy.
Yeah, and let me see what you look like.
Exactly.
Regular clothes on.
Yeah, because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Anybody can get dressed up, but your regular clothes, if you can put those together.
Right. Let me see what you're coming to me with your regular clothes on.
Like the guy that was on the Super Bowl, he had on the jeans with the shoes. That was like, oh, that was Kendrick Lamar. Who was that? He had jeans with like dress shoes. I was like, oh, yeah, not when he was performing. That's why I'm like, was it before? I think they were just showing. I don't know.
Okay, so you don't want a man to come with you with jeans and dressy shoes. Don't come with no hard bottoms and jeans. Or
the tight. What kind of jeans were those? The bell bottom jeans with the flare bottom. Ooh, that fit at the top. Oh no.
Okay, so that would be a no. But I think it's important to like, you know.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So let me see. We answered that. I have a question. Who do you think I should have never dated? Well, you like, what? The reason I'm asking is because I look back at myself and I'm like,
I know.
Or who did you like the least? It could be you know.
Without saying any names. We will not say any names.
I can put a bleep.
Yeah, right. You should have dated. So early on in your career of dating.
I already know what you're going to say with that one.
Yes.
She couldn't stand him.
But, you know, you learn from every relationship.
Every time you say that
one, right.
Yeah.
So that one was a hard lesson. That one, no. That shouldn't have happened.
At all.
But you know
what it was?
Young.
He looked like Ralph Transman. No. I'm editing that part out. Because that might not even who she talking about. I'm still editing that one out.
Wait. Okay. You're oldie. I don't have anybody in your older years. You know, there was a moment in time that should have happened. But, I mean, and you learn from every experience.
Every experience
molds you to who you are.
That is definitely true.
So,
okay.
You can't get rid of anybody in your life that's been in your life.
No.
Because then you wouldn't be where you are now.
That is true. How important are looks?
Well, for me, I mean, I think it's important only because I don't know. That's not what keeps you, but that's what initially grabs you. Looks and charm.
Okay, so
looks and charm. You can't be to the point where you're just not lookable. I don't know. I know that sounds so crazy, but you cannot. Like, you need something. You need an attraction. And different things attract you.
But we talked about that today.
And keep you.
Like, we can't say name.
No.
But
no. You don't have to be I'm not attracted to men that are ultra fine, like those ones that are like
pretty.
Yeah. I'm not attracted to pretty.
Like, what's the name to me is pretty.
Who?
Mustafa. What's his name?
Alan P. What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mustafa. Mustafa's pretty.
Mustafa's pretty.
And no disrespectful way, but he's pretty.
Yes, because he has the pretty eyes.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's
clear skin,
pretty.
Like, he's pretty.
Yeah.
Not right.
Right.
That's not
Alan Pierre. Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty. But I'm not attracted usually to those.
He's nice looking.
He's very nice looking.
What we would consider pretty.
Yes.
But so earlier we were saying that a person could be not as attractive, but you still like him because of his personality.
Right.
But you don't.
Right.
But that would be somebody. That would have to be somebody you work with. Somebody you know.
Right.
You have to get to know their personality.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like, you initially are attracted to a person from their looks most of the time. But sometimes it is because of their character, and they might be charming.
But you have to know them.
But you have to know
because
them.
if they come up to you and say hi,
right,
how
I know.
are you?
Yeah.
Like,
their initial attraction has to be.
So looks depend.
Looks depend.
It could.
But we did talk about you becoming more attractive based on your personality. Because, like, you could have someone who's very nice looking, but he's a jerk.
Yes.
And then you have someone who's okay, but he's very nice, very charming, wonderful person, and then that makes him more attractive.
That's true. Well, not too long ago, you ever saw somebody, and you be like, you gotta do a double take, like, wait a minute. She's fine. Huh? Oh, she laughing. She laughing. Because
I mean, yes, you see people that are fine, and you're like, oh, okay.
No, because I called you one day. I saw somebody. I said,
so fine, you gotta call your friend. Like, what?
I said, Nicole. I said, girl. I was walking. And I said, hold on now. Oh, that's funny. You know he gotta be fine. Either you're going through something or he's fine. But you gotta pick up the phone and call your friend and be like, girl, let me tell you what I just saw. But let me see. In a relationship, how are you in a relationship? Like, what I mean is that you have some people, like, do you like, how do you want your man to be? Like, what do you expect from a man? And, like, what matters the most?
I think for me now, it matters that they listen. You know, I need someone who's going to listen. You know, so, and listening, and it's funny because my husband and I keep saying my husband. I don't normally say my husband. I'm not going to say his name. But we always talk about listening, because even with his new job, I'm like, you got to listen. And then and I told him, when you listen, you don't just listen to what people say. You listen to what they do. Because a lot of times people won't tell you things, but they will act in a certain way and do things. So you have to really listen and look at and be observant at what they are doing and respond to that. So I really like someone who listens.
That's funny you say that, because I was going to say, listen in what you're saying, or listen in what you're, like, kind of doing. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of men, sorry, not all, but I think a lot of men listen to respond instead of listening and taking a second to hear. And it's not always about right or wrong.
Right.
I don't want somebody to say, oh, you're right. Because no, it's just about really taking the time to really listen to hear what the person is saying. And you could listen and still agree to disagree. Yeah. You don't have to necessarily, agree with what the person is saying. But it is very important, I think, to listen.
Yeah.
And
listen to what they're not saying, but you can see how they're reacting, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times people don't say what they mean sometimes. Not a lot of times, but sometimes. But they show you, right? Just like with kids. You might tell them one thing, but you're doing another, so they take what you do rather than what you say. And that's what you got to listen to. Because, like, if you say something and I don't like it, I might be like, oh, okay. But it might be the way I said, oh, okay, and what I do next that you need to pay attention to.
Right.
Show you that I don't like that.
Right. So, because you know what I like in a man? I like a man that's, like you said, that's going to listen, right? And if I tell you how I feel, you don't necessarily have to agree, but I want you to be able to articulate to me, like have a conversation, like, well, Chris, why do you, or, what do you, so listening and being able to articulate, like having just a conversation, you know what I mean? And not taking my feelings like, oh, she just a girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, she just
Right.
like, whatever. No,
Right.
like, listen to what it is that I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I also want somebody who I think is important to accept me for who I am.
Right.
You know, accept me
Right.
for who I am. But that's why, too, when it comes to dating, that's why my dating life is like how it is now. Basically non-existent. It's because, Nicole, so this is gonna be, we got like 2 more topics.
Okay, because the drinks are
yeah.
ready to be
So so we talked about this before. As far as in dating, when you're single and you're dating, you should have a roster. I have a problem with having a roster. I do. Because you know what? Because I think what happens is that you get this one person, or you get, so let's just say I was dating 3 people, right? Now, and they actively dating me. It's gonna come some point they gonna want something else. And yes, I can say no, right? But I'm a girl, right? It's still gonna be someone out of that 3 that you like, this is who I'm really rocking with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so so for me, dating and roster and stuff is like, I found somebody that I can rock with. He's cool. We have fun. But that's not good either.
Well, you have always been a relationship
person,
right? And women usually are relationship type people. We're more focused usually. We're more family oriented. So we are usually relationship people. And so since you're a relationship person, you're always gonna look for a relationship.
Not even a relationship, but like I be committed to non-commitment.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Because you're looking for a relationship.
No, I don't know. You know what it is? I just No, look, I think that's what, because I don't know if you noticed, I wear this band.
Yeah, I noticed.
And when I'm someplace, and I'm like, oh, it's too many ninjas out.
Yeah, because I looked and I was like,
because this is why I put it here, and then when I go someplace, I'm like, I'll put it over here because it's easier for me to be like, oh, I'm ready. That's not the smartest thing to do, being single, right?
well, it depends on what you're looking for.
I don't know. You know that,
Right. Because you're not really looking for that. You want
no,
a
but I
relationship.
don't even really know what I'm looking for.
So
I don't.
I think I know what you're looking for. I won't say it on this camera, but I think I know what you're looking for. And you're a relationship
She don't
person.
need another
and
one.
that's what I'll say. You're a relationship person.
And you know what it is? I love hard.
Yes. And
I
you
love
don't
that.
really want a roster. You
I
want to
don't.
have fun.
Yeah.
You don't want a roster.
Right. So
you're a relationship person.
Right. So I can have a relationship. No. I can have a friendship, relationship. But getting that roster, it's like, that's crazy. And then you know what the thing about the roster is? Yeah, I don't think
I think you want a relationship.
Yeah, it could be a friendship.
I think you want a relationship.
No, it's hard. But I'm the only
It's
single one in
challenging.
the group now.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, it is. That's what I always
I've
say.
been the only single one before.
I thought that was a long time.
It was a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
ago.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think that and everybody don't. If 90% of men try to talk to me, only 10% get through the wall. Right? Yeah, I don't know. Before I said I was gonna let her hook me up, but no.
I don't think you need a hookup.
No, I'm okay.
I don't think you need a hookup, right? I don't think you need a hookup.
Doing okay.
I think you're doing okay.
I don't have a roster, but
No.
I'm okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You have what you need.
For the moment. Okay, how important is sex in a relationship?
Well, my aunt told me a long time ago, it is a shame that we cannot find our true partner, which would be someone we're compatible with emotionally and physically. And so I think it's important. I don't think it's the most important, because as relationships move, grow, and if you're in a long relationship over time, as you get older, sex changes. So, I mean, I don't think
better or for the, like, does it not matter anymore?
No, I don't think that it not matters. It just changes. It changes. And so that's why it's like you have to be friends, you have to be lovers, you have to be
homie, lover, friend.
All of that.
I don't know.
But it is important.
I think that if you like somebody, you think the sex is great.
It definitely is tied to your emotions.
But the minute you can't take them,
it's tied to your emotions. Yes.
You're
yes.
like, what is
yes. And we talked about a man listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a man has to be very in tune, because they have to understand women are very different when it comes to our bodies and our sexuality, and how to stimulate that, and to
they can't
arouse.
be selfish.
They can't be selfish, because their arousal and their their whole experience and what pleases them is totally different from us. You have to be patient.
A man that's not selfish in the bedroom is a gem.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That is a gem.
Yes.
I do believe so.
Yeah.
So Nicole,
I think neither needs to be selfish. The man or the woman, either partner.
Right. Yeah.
Inclusive.
Yes. Whatever you like.
Right.
Shouldn't be selfish. So let me ask you. So now with this, that you want to embark on this matchmaking, do you think it's going to be hard? Because this is a thing too. I know how you feel with staying in a race, right? But, you may have to. So how do you think that you're going to find some difficulties in matchmaking?
I think so. Well, I think what the difficulty is? Finding men. I have a roster of women.
And no men.
And no men.
So any men that's out there that's watching and you're looking for a good woman, she has a bunch of women that's looking for a good man.
Yes.
But that
good women.
Yes, good women. That have careers, good women.
Good women.
But my thing is that we talked about this too before. White men or men of other races, don't try to talk to me. I think they think I'm too close to what they're already used to. So if I don't have that, like I don't know. One tried to talk to me, and because so before I say that, one man tried to talk to me, and I did give him my number. We never went on a date, but we had some phone conversation. It was different.
It's different. That's interesting. Would you date a man that is not of the same race?
So needless to say, I ghosted him, and he was like, "Why did you ghost me?" I blocked him and everything because it was just.
I don't know. We don't have the same experience. I don't know. I've never.
You have to have some type of struggle.
Right.
Well, that's saying, though, right?
No, because you have to be able to relate, right? I think, I don't know. I have never dated outside of my race. I've never even dated a Spanish man, a Hispanic man, which I don't think was purposeful, but then, I don't know. Is that part of my bias? I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to think.
We live in such a segregated
I think I dated one.
America, so I don't know.
Did I date a Spanish? Well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. And I don't know that.
He was a brat in the town.
Was he? Oh, he was mixed. No, he was Hispanic. He was. So you dated a half white man.
Yeah, but that was like. I don't know. We were kids. So
right,
but that don't really.
I don't know.
I never dated outside my race. Like I said, they don't like me. They don't like me. They think I think they think that I'm too close to what they have. I don't know. It could be silly. I don't know. But then again, so I blocked him. But then again, even in my phone, being a single woman, only 4 men have my phone number.
That's good.
How?
You need a bunch of men having your
No,
phone
you don't. But they like the past men, and then like that.
I think you should leave the past in the past.
No, but they No. They have my number. Not that they call.
People in the past are in the past for a reason.
So you don't think about spinning the block?
No.
Yeah. I'm thinking
I think people in the past are in the past for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think. Because the future, what you see in front of you, looks bright. Woo. And that goes to another thing. Women, I don't know of meeting men in a club, but I met, what's his name in the club, and that lasted a long time. Well, not in the club, I met him at a party.
Who?
Mike.
Yeah,
And that lasted, but he wanted to party every weekend. He partied every weekend. I mean, the relationship was good.
Right.
It wasn't bad.
Right.
You know, it was a good relationship. But I met him at a party. Her husband's party, right? Yeah, it was so I met him at a party, and he wanted to party, but I accepted him for that.
But he was a friend of a friend.
That's another thing.
He was a friend
Everybody
of a friend.
except, everybody up until now, everybody that I dated knew somebody.
Which is good.
Yeah, because it's crazy out here.
Yeah.
But
You
now,
need references.
yeah, but now I'm
need
stepping out and being
references.
cute.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Nobody don't know.
Yeah.
But depending on, I say that to say you have to meet the men where they are. So I met him at a party. He liked to party all the time. I can't now come in and want to change that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, my phone is dry.
And, party all the time.
I don't feel like I didn't feel like anything is necessarily wrong with that because that might be, with his occupation and stuff, that might have just been his release.
Right.
And like I said, any man that I meet, any man that I deal with, I don't want to change them.
Exactly.
I want to meet you where you are. If this is where you are, this is where I'm going to meet you and be okay with that if I'm okay with it. You know, so with him partying all the time, I don't think it was really an issue, but I say that to say I met him at a party. So now this is what he likes to do. I can't come in down and be like, oh, you party all the time.
Right. I don't think that's a problem. I think people should be allowed to be who they are. And I think the problem that happens sometimes is, especially women try to change men. They meet a man, they like some things about them, and they're like, oh, well, the things I don't like, maybe I can change. And we know from experience, you don't change people, and people don't change very much.
And let me tell you something too. I think a lot of us like men for what we think they can be or what we want them to be. Potential. Instead of seeing them for who they are.
Right.
You know, and I think that becomes a big issue because we see a man, he's nice looking, he may have a nice career, things going for him, and then so we romanticize over this man and what he can be instead of looking at him for who he really is.
Yep. And I think it depends, because I remember my aunt saying one time, I'm not trying to change any man. I'm not trying to raise any man. I'm too old for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Right.
Really? And as a younger woman, I was like, oh, why not? You work with them. But now that I'm a little older, I'm like, you're right. No, you are who you are.
Right.
And I'm not coming to change you.
At any age, I just feel like it's important because if you feel like you have to change someone or if you have to try to get someone to think this way or to do this, that man's not for you.
Exactly.
You know, and I think that you really got to let a man be you. And you know what's another thing that's women? Don't do this, women. When you meet a man, he come over now, you want to cook for him every day. You want to do it. Then when you got him, you like, who cooking? I'm not hungry. Like, I'm not cooking. I don't feel like it. Be you.
Expectations you can't keep up with.
Yeah, be you so that you can find the right person for you.
Right.
That's what I would say,
very
right?
important.
Yeah.
Very important.
Because we like to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a spoiler by nature, I think. Like, I want to spoil you, right? But that can easily change.
Right.
That can easily change.
Yeah.
And not because that's not really who I am, but that can easily change based on the person.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a spoiler.
Yeah. I'm the type of person that likes to do little things, like write little notes and cards.
But that's
important.
Little
stuff. Right.
That's important. I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that
those things mean a lot to me. Big things don't really mean
me
material
either.
things don't mean anything to me.
Because you know why? I feel like we can buy the big things.
Yeah.
The big things that we want for ourselves, we can buy. It's the little things that matter or the little things that actually count. Yeah. You know, the things that we could buy ourselves flowers and roses and stuff like that. But it's just
I like that though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying though. But it's those
The meaningful things.
The meaningful
The
things,
meaningful
you know. I think those are the things that matter more. I don't think like the fancy restaurants, and I don't think like all of these things matter. I think it's the small things that you picking up my favorite wine, or you know, just the small things.
Right.
I appreciate you. You know, I don't know. It's just the small things.
Yeah, small things mean a lot.
Yeah.
They mean a lot.
So wrapping this up, I would say, ladies, that single out there, it could be a little tough, but you gotta, like you said, stay ready, so you don't have to get ready, and you can meet a man anywhere.
You sure can.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Laundromat, supermarket, red light, going to get your hair done. Where you met him at?
I met him on the train.
And let me tell
Amtrak.
And let me tell you, I'm so glad she ain't listening to me, because this one meets him on Amtrak. He lived in North Carolina.
But no. I met him on Amtrak, but then remember we lost contact, and then
Where did you meet him the second
The
time?
second time was coming from the nail salon.
Oh, I didn't know. Really?
Yeah, coming from the nail salon.
Well,
Yes.
she had a nerve to tell me she going to North Carolina. I said, you going where?
I had to see what was going on.
Yeah, I took her. She going to North
It was worth
Carolina.
my time. I don't play games.
So Miss Thing went all the way to North Carolina, but then that became her husband. So I'm glad she didn't listen to me, because I was like, you going to see who, where? You don't know this man. But it became her husband. So, because the one before that,
Ooh.
you know I ain't like him. Couldn't stand him.
Anyway, I thought you was ending the show.
Yeah. But I think that if you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, share, and we will definitely do another one. And you haven't seen the last of Nicole, because you know we was just out together. I'm pretty sure you're gonna see that video before you see this one. But and we're gonna follow up on her journey of matchmaking. So we're going to see how that goes. So once again, men, if you're out there looking for a good woman, we ain't looking for men that's playing games, because no, we're looking for men who, well, you know what? You got to ask the women too, like what they looking for.
Right.
So if a woman is just looking for company or companionship, okay, you know, it depends. But we're going to keep up with Nicole and see how her matchmaking is going, and see what else she has going on. But I am proud of her. I know she's going to make some great relationships, marriages, hookups, whatever they may like. She's gonna do it, and we are going to watch her journey. And of course, you haven't seen the last of her, because this is my girl. We just went on a Patrizi date, so you know, and then
you gotta watch your show.
Yes.
Continue to watch your show, because she's blowing up.
It's gonna get better, and plus, I'm gonna take y'all with me when I take her on our girl
Jamaica.
trip. Yes. Because what happened? I got my entire life in Jamaica. Like she gonna get her life super in a different, you know, we're gonna be in Jamaica like. But thank you for watching, and once again, like always, please stay kind, be kind to the people in front of you and back of you and the side of you. People in your building, people you work with, just be kind. If you see someone that's outside that look like they're struggling, take a minute to pray for them as you're driving past, as you're walking past. You never know what anyone is dealing with, what people are struggling with. We are living in a time that is really crucial, and we all need prayers. We all need uplifting, and most of all, we all need a bit of kindness. Okay? So until the next one, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And like I said, you may see us again. Well, you will see us again doing a island talk at the island in the Brownstone. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
And look, we got through the glass. Cheers. Look, if we had more time, we would have been on our second glass, and you would have got a lot of the juice.